Hey troops, Dit Commando, welcome to the channel. My name's Ryan and I'm a former Royal Marine from the United Kingdom. Thank you for stopping by, guys, and today we're going to be reacting to the prisoner of war soldier who blinked torture in Morse code on TV. Pretty smart thing to do, I guess, but you've got to know Morse code, so it's only a skill set. Good if you know how to use it, okay? But without any further ado, we're going to get straight into this one. But please, before we do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I just want to say again, thank you for stopping by, guys. I really do appreciate all of the support I've been having. If you want to become a member, hit that join button now. But let's get into this one.
Imagine you're a prisoner of war, your plane was shot down, and you've been held for so long that the days and the nights begin to blur together. You're kept in a small cell in solitary confinement, and the only times you see the sun are when you're taken out to be beaten and tortured by your captives. You don't even know if your government knows that you're still alive. Now your captors have a mission for you. They want to make a propaganda broadcast telling your country that you're being treated well and condemning the war. You need
Yeah, we've seen this actually, haven't we, on the news and stuff before. There is different things that different military organizations from around the globe actually use as little symbols and stuff to tell to tell people that they're either in trouble or they're okay and whatnot. But I do think that, you know, these people must know by now that there's some kind of code going on with these things. So I don't know why they think it's useful. I don't think it's useful. Do you think it's useful, guys? Let me know in the chat.
to get the message out about the truth, but you know that one wrong step could mean torture or worse. For naval aviator Jeremiah Denton during the Vietnam War, this was reality, and he found an incredible way to communicate the truth. Jeremiah Denton was not your average prisoner of war. While many were young privates, often draftees, he was a seasoned Navy man with over 20 years of experience behind him. He'd enlisted in the
Okay, so he knows exactly what he's doing then, guys. He's been in there, he's done it, he's got a lot of experience under his belt, so they're not dealing with an average Joe type person here, okay?
Navy with World War II still raging, and went on to serve as a test pilot, a flight instructor, and a commanding officer of an attack squadron.
Wow.
He even revolutionized the Navy's nuclear war tactics at the height of the Cold War in 1957, pioneering the haystack concept that made it easier to hide aircraft carriers from enemy planes. But none of that prepared him for the harrowing ordeal that awaited him when he was shot down over North Vietnam. It was July.
Yeah, no one wants to get shot down anywhere, never mind in North Vietnam at the time. You know, these people were ruthless to US military troops especially, guys, all right? Extremely ruthless. And, yeah, a situation you don't want to find yourselves in. This is a bit random, this, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. I wonder if anyone in the chat's actually been involved in such a thing. If you want to share that, let me know.
July 18, 1965, and Commander Denton was leading the U.S. 6th Fleet into battle. They launched from the USS Independence in the South China Sea and flew into North Vietnam. By his side was his navigator, Lieutenant Bill Schutte. Their bombing raid quickly spiraled out of control as anti-aircraft guns fired on them. Hit multiple times, their plane began spiraling down toward the guns below. With only seconds to react, they hit the eject buttons on their seats and parachuted into enemy territory. They landed in the village of Thanh Hoa near Hanoi and soon found themselves surrounded by enemy soldiers. Outmanned and outgunned, they had no choice but to surrender, and Jeremiah Denton...
What would you do in that situation then, guys? I think a lot of us would like to think that we would fight and we would crack on and we wouldn't surrender and all of that good stuff, but you'd only ever really know how you'd react if you were actually in that situation in the first place. And, you know, human instinct overtakes sometimes, unless you're an extremely skilled, seasoned infanteer, which this guy wasn't. I think most people would actually surrender.
Denton became one of the highest-ranking prisoners of war in the Vietnam War. Denton and Schutte were held in the notorious prison camp known as the Zoo, one of the most...
Okay. Anything nicknamed the Zoo that's not meant for animals is going to be a bad place anyway. All right? I mean, arguably zoos for animals are bad places because they're held captive, aren't they? So, yeah, that would definitely be a feared place to go.
Feared prisons in the war zone. From the beginning, conditions were designed to break them down and get the prisoners to share information on U.S. military operations. Denton was held in solitary confinement, often in darkness. Prisoners were regularly shackled with leg irons and beaten with bamboo poles and rubber whips. Denton would be frequently interrogated by his captors, but stayed steadfast. He'd
Mental
give them
torture.
nothing but his name, rank, and serial number, as he'd been taught in military training. Denton's resistance in the face of the abuse gave courage to his fellow captives, and he quickly became a leader among the other American POWs. Increasingly frustrated, the North Vietnamese prison guards decided on a show of force to break their captives down. They would hold a press conference where the captured soldiers would be used as propaganda against their own country, and the stubborn Commander Denton would be the star attraction. It was May 2nd, 1966, when Denton and several of his fellow soldiers were hauled out of their cells and brought before a visiting Japanese reporter, who asked them questions about their treatment. The North Vietnamese soldiers were on site, watching their every word. The reporter prodded Denton to give his opinion on his government's actions, but Denton defied his captors and stated that he stood with the United States. He knew the interview was drawing to a close and would likely face more torture for his defiance. This might be his last chance to get a message out to U.S. command, but saying the wrong word would end the interview and risk his life. But
oh man, so just imagine you're being beaten, you're held captive, you're put in dark solitary confinement, you know that you could get an ass whooping at the very least for saying the wrong thing, and you're having to think on your feet whilst fatigued, whilst lying on TV in case you got beaten up. That requires not only a brave person, but an articulate person to still be able to think whilst fatigued, beaten up, worn down, all of that stuff, alright? So, testament to this guy, the fact that he actually got to a high-ranking officer. He didn't just get there through luck. It tells me that he got there because he was actually an academic and intellectual individual.
But the North Vietnamese didn't know Denton had a secret weapon. He knew Morse code. Thinking fast, Denton remembered the rudimentary system of dots and dashes used to encode text characters. Without missing a beat in the interview, he translated that code into a series of blinks. Quick blinks for dots, long blinks for dashes, and sent out a one-word message he hoped someone back home would figure out. A long blink, T. 3 long blinks, O. A short blink, a long blink, and a short blink. R. A long blink, T. 2 short blinks followed by a long blink. U. A short blink, a long blink, and a short blink. R. A short blink. E. Torture. This was the first communication from the prisoners of war to the world.
Awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
And Denton was lucky that his captors did not figure out what he was doing. The message was broadcast across the world, and U.S. Navy personnel quickly figured it out. The word was out and pressure was mounting around the world for the release or better treatment of the prisoners of war. But the hard times were just beginning for Jeremiah Denton. His defiance during the interviews was harshly punished, but he remained steadfast against the abuse by the guards. Extended sessions of solitary confinement became more common, and he was transferred from one notorious prison to another. 2 months after his interview, he and his men were forced to participate in the infamous Hanoi March, where dozens of POWs were marched through the streets of Hanoi. They were met with thousands of enraged Vietnamese civilians who pelted them with bottles and stones and beat them with.
That must be scary as it gets, guys. As scary as it gets. I would not like to be in that kind of situation where you're faced to the public, especially if the public have been brainwashed into a false narrative. You know, you're going to be... I mean, these people are going to want to kill you, you know. That's... Yeah, they're going to want to kill you guys.
With sticks. Denton and his men barely escaped with their lives. The Hanoi March was filmed by European journalists and added to the mounting outrage against the North Vietnamese. Under global pressure, the torture stopped. Denton spent years more in prison, but he and his fellow men didn't have to...
Years more in prison, guys. Years. We normally think... I mean, I remember when I was in Royal Marines Commando training, and we were thinking, wow... 9 months, 9.5 months or whatever of commando training. That's a long time. These people are spending years and years and years in as a captive, as a prisoner of war. I mean, who am I to think that my training was long? You know, it's ridiculous.
Hear extreme abuse every day. He didn't know his blinked message had gotten out until February 12, 1973. After almost 8 years in prison, Denton and Schutte were released as part of Operation Homecoming, the release of POWs that ended the Vietnam War. As a reward for his heroic conduct during years in captivity, he was promoted to the rank of Rear Admiral. Jeremiah Denton would go on to wear many hats in his post-captivity career. He would be the Commandant of the Armed Forces Staff College and a Special Assistant to the Chief of Naval Education. He would serve at...
Wow, so amidst all of that adversity, he's actually climbed the ranks still. He stayed in the military. It just goes to show that you can go through horrendous things and still go on to achieve many good things.
Term as senator from Alabama and write a memoir, When Hell Was in Session, that would be turned into a TV movie. But he would always be remembered best as the iron-jawed prisoner of war, who with 7 letters and 15 blinks exposed the truth about the torture of American captives to the world. For more about the Vietnam War, check out this.
That was really, really good. Really, really, really good, guys. All right. I've got a lot of respect for the Infographics Show for putting this kind of content up, for allowing people like me to do honest reactions to it and to share my honest thoughts. You know, I am a military man, a former military man, and I love all of this type of content. It's very easy to digest, and I just like to share my opinions on things, and hopefully you guys do. The numbers say that you do, so thank you for stopping by, guys. Before you go, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a member, all right, please consider it, because it really does help me do these reaction videos each and every day. And you just have to press that join button, guys. But other than that, I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Peace.